Hey everybody, and welcome to another Mathas versus the Ladder. I'm going to be doing a little something differently today. I'm actually going to be doing this from my opponent's standpoint. We'll see how it goes. I just want to experiment a little bit, and man, he took a long time to mine. So I don't know what was going on there. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. I hope it goes well. I kind of want to do this because I want to analyze what they're doing, how they react to certain things I do, maybe find a pattern as I do this more. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Like I said, another thing I want to talk about is, man, I am so excited. I'm getting so many videos up today, and because I'm slowly discovering that my new computer is a monster. I'm pretty sure, every time I've made a video and then wanted to render it through my program that I use for rendering, it's taken about 2.5, 3 hours, any computer before this. Now, I want to process a video. It'll probably take maybe 15-20 minutes. Longer videos, maybe a half an hour. And I can multitask, so with my quad-core processor, I'm allowed to, and it's allowing me to do this. I can render and I can play and record at the same time. So while this is actually recording, I'm rendering a video, so I'm loving it. I'm super psyched that I'm able to do that. So we'll see what happens. He's telling me that he usually doesn't choose random, usually plays Protoss, but I always take that with a grain of salt because you never know if the person is just playing mind games with you or not. So I say, oh, you never know, I might suck anyway. Just kind of like tell him, like, I don't necessarily believe that, you don't always play Terran or you don't always play random. So we'll see how he does. He does do gas first, and something is going to tip me off to that in a little bit. But for now, I'm actually ×2 a little bit just to kind of get through the opening stages. It's a little slow going, especially on a Terran end, and I'm going through his view. I might end up breaking his control and actually scouting around the map to see what he knows. Not necessarily just just playing through his movement. As you see, my drone scout hits up. I'm just checking. I see his barracks is not nearly completed, so I know it's a very late barracks. I'm trying to do some damage, trying to pick off that SCV. It doesn't happen. I pull my drone back up, and I am going to be just kind of scouting and seeing what he's going to drop. Another thing, guys, I've been doing a lot of live casting. I did a live cast with Cyber Sports Network recently. I am going to be casting with them, hopefully again in the future. We'll see. As you can see, too, he scouted in the wrong place. On these maps, you can't spawn close positions on ground. So the fact that he scouted up there is a little bit on the late side, so he's going to be late in getting any information out of me. And he's going to know my hatchery's up. As you can see, he did see it, but barely saw anything. And I did see, by the way, I was able to get the scout info on the barracks. If we take a quick look here, I was able to poke my drone up, and I did see that the factory was going down, so he wasn't building it far enough away. Let's go back to his vision and head back. So nothing extremely. All I know is that he definitely has Hellions coming. I mean, you see a reactor go down in a barracks, you're almost 100% positive that that's what's going to happen one way or another. So let's speed it up a little bit. I am ready for the barracks. I'm ready for the Hellions. Like I said, I left my drone in the middle of the map just to know when they're on their way. He is going to drop a command center. So he went 1 racks, 1 factory, expand. And as you can see, he's going to swing in here. He's going to pick that off if I remember correctly. No, he does not. But you can see I have 3 spine crawlers popping up at the front of my base. He is going to try and swing around there. I did move my drones just in case, but he did not. He decided to not commit and back out, and he is going to roll out as my 3rd spine crawler does finish up. But I know they're going to be there. I have vision all the way out there to my map, and I'm pretty much safe as far as I'm concerned from any Hellion harass. So part of me hopes he decides to go very heavy Hellion-based play, just because I know I'll be ready for it. And we'll see what he decides to do. He is going to spread out his Hellions, which is an interesting decision. If I wanted to run my Zerglings up there, having the Hellion spread would be bad because I could probably corner a couple of them. Unfortunately, I did not do that. I was busy actually working away at the rocks down there, getting ready to expand. You see my mineral count's getting high. If we take a look at the production tab, I have my Baneling's Nest going, and I've decided too, when someone goes Hellions, I can go a little late on the Banelings. I can stop. I don't have to make Banelings right away. Those Banelings can just wait a little while, as I'm not going to need them. I'm not going to need them right away. I'm not even going to need them. I might not ever need them if he's going mech, but my scouting isn't as great in this game as I would have liked it to be.
This better be good.
As you see, I rearranged my spine crawlers just to make sure that if he gets close, he's going to take some damage. And yeah, so let's speed this up again. It can be a little bit boring. He is trying to expand. What he knows is that I know that they're Hellions. So what I like that he did is he stopped producing Hellions. I think that's smart. He has the Hellions he wanted. He realized that they're not doing much damage and has stopped producing them and hasn't pushed. What he could do is swing them up there for some scouting, use maybe a couple of them for some scouting. I think he could get some scouting information because Hellions are so fast. And the fact that he's expanding and macroing up behind this is smart. So I do like that that's what's happening. I think he's making a relatively smart decision. His expansion's a little bit on the later side, but not too late. And now we have siege tanks, a typical Terran mix of siege tanks and marines. I am going to swing my my Zerglings out here, try to pick off what I can, but I'm going to back him off. He is going to pick off my creep tumor. I'm not going to allow them to go down, picking off 2 of them. Really, really annoying. But I am not too worried about it. Again, he has not really pushed forward with those Hellions outside of that. He's killed a few of my Zerglings, and he's barely outside there. I have my Overlord far enough out where I do see them. But he has transitioned to a very typical opener. From a very typical opener to a very standard early mid-game mix of Marines and Siege tanks. He has 0 information. At this point, I want to take a quick look and see what kind of energy he has. He has no energy on this one, and no energy in this one, so he's been muling up. If he has not been able to get any scouting information outside of, I have an evolution chamber, 3 spine crawlers, and an expansion. He really wasn't even able to get up here. He has no idea what's coming. I would not necessarily have muled as hard as he have, and maybe burn a scan as a Terran. Scan, see what I have, and prep for it, because he's building this blind. And if I decide to go Mutalisk Zergling Baneling mix, that's the complete perfect composition to take care of this. These Marine would melt to my Banelings, Siege Tanks would go down to Zergling, and Mutalisk Harass if I can get my Zerglings close enough. And it just wouldn't be a problem. If I could swing up here, he has 0 defense. He is dropping a missile turret preemptively just to make sure, and he is kind of waiting from some Zerglings. He's going to see Banelings popping out. I am just going to take control of the map now, because I'm going to take a look at what's going on and what he knows. I am going to quickly take care of these Hellions. I am going to keep chasing this one for a little bit while longer before I bounce out and I take the middle of the map. And now he just knows I have mid-map. He is going to kite them. He doesn't want me to have mid-map control. I like that. Swing in there, do some damage, and then bounce out. Just take away my mid-map control for a little bit. But again, he knows very little outside of I made a tight couple of chokes for him to swing in. Because I want him to swing in with his Hellions and an Evo chamber there. He doesn't know if I have a 3rd. Hell, he doesn't know if I have a 4th. He doesn't even know if I've taken the rocks down anymore, because last time he poked up here was early. For now, I could have been working on them. But he's building his army blind. I think if there was one thing I could tell him to change about his Terran play is to scout more. And he has so much energy, so much energy. Drop those scans, even at platinum level. Drop those scans. One of the things you should be doing and should be practiced by now is completely practicing. Completely knowing when to drop scans, when not to. I am actually swinging here for a quick peek of what he has. I did not get nearly as much information as I wanted, but I was able to see that he had siege tanks and marines, and that is enough for me to know what kind of army composition he has for now. And he did drop a scan on here to see if I had a 3rd. Still, getting this, understanding that I have this is good, but you need to know what kind of tech I'm going. You need to know if I'm going Mutalisk, because if you find out I'm going Mutalisk, you would have had an armory down by now. You would have had Thors being processed by now. Siege tank production would have been a little bit lower. The Marine Thor army count would have been even higher. Or you could have transferred over into something similar to, and then he's going to see my Mutalisk. He could have transferred over to some mech play, Siege tank, Thor Hellion mix, or Thor Hellion mix, which would have been a huge problem for me to deal with. But he did try to pull a drop. I do like that, but I did have Mutalisk flying around the map, taking care of map control. I did pick off a turret, try to pick off what I can, try to damage what I can. I killed off a Marine, but I'm going to swing out here with my Mutas, taking pretty minimum damage. Just forcing him to split up his army and keep Marines up at the high ground, and at the low ground he's going to have pretty safe coverage anyway. He's going to have his siege tanks covering a large amount. If the Zerglings decided they wanted to run up here, it would have been no problem. He would have had no problem dealing with them. So he's pretty safe. But now he's got to play Turtle. He canceled up. I don't know what he was making. I think he was making tech labs, so he canceled them and decided to make reactors instead. And now we have an engineering bay going down, but no armory. He knows I have mutas on the map. He knows 100% that I have mutas on the map. And that's all he knows. He knows I have Mutalisks and Zerglings. So he can assume that I'm doing Zergling, Baneling. Burning energy for this just shows, not necessarily ready for it. I am going to push in with a big whopping thing of mutas and push out, do some damage, kind of do some poking. I just want to get some scouting done. I do have a large amount of mutas, so I know I can kind of pop in and do a good amount. Forcing a stim there, not necessarily the best idea to stim, as if you don't have a lot of medevacs, or any medevacs, or just one medevac for that matter. And now we're just dropping the armory. So I'd say this guy's major flaw is lack of scouting. He has no idea what was going on. I am going to swing in here and do some damage with my mutas, killing off some siege tanks because I am getting ready for a counterattack, even sacking some mutas to kind of try to fish him out. But as you're going to see, here comes the massive amount of Zerglings and Banelings. I'm going to swing in here, and what his reaction is going to be is not split at all. Just let them sit in a clump and let me eat literally everything up. And now there's really nothing he can do. He wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't able to stop me from doing that. So I was able to swing in there with a huge amount of Banelings and bounce out. And yeah, I lost a good chunk of Mutalisks there, but if we take a little loss tab, he has lost more in the minerals, and I am on 3 bases. So even though I have destroyed a good amount, I'm currently sitting on 3 bases, so I'm looking fine. As far as I know, and as far as he knows I'm on 3 bases. So I like the fact that he's trying to macro up, but he's going to run into my Mutas, and then I'm going to back out with them so they don't get picked off by the Marines that I know that are there. He's going to pick off the rocks. I do like that as well. Instead of taking, he wanted to go take this, I believe is what he was going for. Obviously, since he didn't take out the rocks over here quite yet. But don't swing up there without the rocks down first, so you can get your Marines and troops up there to reinforce and defend this like that. So imagine if I had waited. I had literally waited for this to swing up here and then hit it with my Mutalisks. Then he would have been huge trouble because he wouldn't have the rocks down. He wouldn't be able to do anything about it. His first Thor is on the way, and now I am going to do up here and swing up here and do some damage. Pick off a couple of add-ons, see if I can pick this off. I make a huge mistake here. I don't finish this add-on off. I could have finished it off. And I would have stopped the Thor, which would have been good. As you can see, I'm swinging in here. Now I'm going to go straight for the SCV count. I'm going to split my Banelings just a bit and then just kill off a ton of Banelings and swing back, I guess. Oh, no, I wanted to swing up here, and that's what I'm going to do. Swing up to the main, explode the wall down, and then go straight for the Marines. He does pull them back smartly, so they are going to get destroyed, only killing off a few Marines, and one of my Mutalisks wanted to go rogue on me. And still not landing it. He has it down. He needs to multitask. He needs to land this. But he has a sizable, no he doesn't. He doesn't have a really sizable army. He's kind of hurting. If I wanted to, I could push up. At this point in time, it's 72 drones to 28, so he is literally just hoping that this bank can help him get him back into the game, which it can with one bad engagement on my end. We'll see what happens. I am going to swing up here, keep doing some harass, kind of force him to split his army when I can, and then back out. Man, Thors have such huge range. We won't have to deal with them for much longer. They'll be a heroic unit. Come the expansion, you'll only be able to have 1 Thor, and I think it'll be a big Thor at that, kind of like the mothership. I think it could be pretty scary, though, when that expansion comes out. Now he feels like he needs to move out, and I actually think this is a relatively smart move by him. I think moving out is the best thing he can do, especially with the creep up to his base at this point. Moving out and trying to do some damage is good. I am going to get caught off guard here, and I decide, oh crap, I might as well do what I'm supposed to do and engage like I wanted to. And I remember talking about this during the live cast recently, is that a lot of times players will swing up there with a huge chunk of army and then attempt to, they realize they're outnumbered. Instead of backing up, they'll engage anyway, and that's exactly what I did. I engaged when I shouldn't have, Zerglings that were pointless to waste, and now I'm kind of hurting for units, but luckily his army is not that big. They're 1-1. My upgrades are 1-2, I do believe, at this point, and he is going to go for a backdoor attack, and I think that's smart. I think the backdoor attack is a very smart move, but because of that, now what I'm trying to do is buy time. I know he's coming at me, so I am literally swinging in to do some damage and attack, and then back out, picking off whatever add-ons I can, while I know he's going to have to focus over there just a bit. He does have a nice rally point set up. He is going to try and go in the back door of my third. At this point, he knows I have the gold up as well, but wants to hit that back door. But because of that, I know he's down there. He's going to be clumped. He's going to have a hard time splitting, and I just made a bunch of Banelings, and that is going to clean up pretty much his entire army, and that's exactly what it is. And once he gets on creep, he's not going to be able to get away, and that's pretty much going to be all he has. He's going to have this and this small contingent of the Marines in the back, a few medevacs, which he probably could have used in that push, and he says, well, this is the terrible experience. So he might have been right. He was barely ever playing as random or Terran. He's usually Protoss, but such is life, and that's how it works. So I hope, I don't know if I enjoyed that experiment of playing on the enemy side there, kind of watching it from his, because I was able to kind of figure out where he went wrong pretty quickly. But let me know what you guys think. I will be putting this up today, and I will see you guys very shortly. Mathas StarCraft, signing out.